Hey all, welcome to Share Trek. This is Raj here. TGIF is what I used to say before I retired, but post-retirement, every day is a weekend and I'm enjoying it. But I wish TGIF to all our viewers who are still doing 9 to 5. I hope you look forward to your weekend and have a great weekend. That said, you already know that I'm in extra holiday mood this weekend, so I'll keep this video light and fluffy. I'm going to talk today about Sarepta Therapeutics. I think we should have had this company in our watch list, and it would be a good idea to add it right now. That's what I'm going to do. So let's get started. Welcome back, friends. Sarepta is a global biotech company headquartered in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and they are working on gene editing, gene therapy, and RNA technologies. They have an impressively broad pipeline with significant number of candidates in the FDA clinical trial stage. They are like nothing that we have seen so far in our watch list in terms of the strength of their pipeline. And on the company website, I found special mention about rethinking access to reimbursement models for revolutionary new treatment. And this statement itself indicates to me that this is a forward-looking company cognizant of the fact that while gene therapies may be superior, the costs will be high, and it's already looking at the at the cost aspect very proactively, and that in my books is a very progressive company. In terms of financials, I'm looking at their Q2 2022 results. Their total revenues came in at 233.5 million for Q2. Out of this, their net product revenue was 211.2 million, showing a 49% increase over the same quarter in 2021. This is a strong growth in my opinion. It's a very, very strong. And their guidance for 2022 for the whole year is a total revenue of 905 to 920 million and net product revenue of 825 to 840 million. So that's a significant revenue number that we are looking at. And the company had approximately $1.9 billion in cash equivalents, and restricted cash investments as of the end of June 30, 2022. And this is compared to 2.1 billion as of 31 December 2022. And the drop is basically driven by operating expenses, and that's understandable. And these cash balance numbers might fluctuate, but the matter that we need to keep in mind is that it's a very healthy cash balance that they have. Now, let me take you to their website to look at their pipeline, which I said is quite impressive, and then we'll come back again. Here we are on the pipeline page for Sarepta. And you can see that they have given a pie chart out here which shows that a small portion of their entire pipeline is gene editing. This is basically CRISPR-Cas9 based. And I think there are 2 therapies out there that they're working on. And gene therapy is constituting almost 21 candidates in their pipeline. And then we have around 14 candidates in their pipeline which are RNA technologies. Now, if we go to scroll down further, and because, as you can see, their pipeline is so huge, they have given us a sort and filter facility. But before I do that, I would like to show that they already have 3 candidates which are commercialized and revenue generating. And they have got 1 candidate in RNA technology, which is in the clinical stage. And then if you go to the gene therapy side, you would see that they have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 therapies which are in clinical trial stage. And in terms of gene editing, they have got 2 therapies out there which is in the discovery stage at this point of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just filter this out to look at RNA technologies first. And if we look at the RNA technologies, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 therapies in the preclinical stage. It's a very, very strong pipeline if you look at just the RNA technology side of it. And if we were to look at the gene therapy side of it, then you have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 therapies in the clinical trial stage. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 therapies in the preclinical stage. Again, this calls for a lot of ongoing expenses, a lot of coordination, a lot of managerial control to make sure that all of them progress in an optimum manner and they are taking advantage of synergies wherever that is available. But all said and done, this is a fairly large company. This is unlike any any of the genomic companies that we have seen in our pipeline before. So this is a very interesting company, in my opinion, that we should keep track of. And I'm not going to go into the gene editing section because it's all in the discovery stages. But that said, this kind of very clearly indicates, I'm just going to remove the filter. This indicates how large a pipeline that they are trying to manage. So this is a strength as well as it's a risk factor, because when you have so many candidates in the pipeline, it shows that even if one fails, there is a whole lot of other candidates which can absorb the cost of the failure. Therefore, their total cost of production of any therapy is going to be lesser than what it would be for companies which have got lesser candidates in the pipeline. So that's a positive. But on the negative side, there is a lot of possibility for many of these to fail and saddle the company with a lot of costs that have gone waste. So that's what I would say when it comes to the pipeline. But overall, it's very, very impressive. And after that impressive pipeline, now let me take you to the page where they show how their therapy works. I want to talk specifically about gene therapy because that's the closest to what we have in our genomic companies. And that's where I would like to begin. So let me first show you the page, and then I'll come back to discuss further. Here we are in the page which talks about their gene therapy engine. And I would like to summarize this for you, and then I'll show a small video from Sarepta itself. I'm going to show the video basically because they explain it the best. So what we have here is we have a vector, which is basically the delivery mechanism, and they are using the adeno-associated virus, AAV virus, as a vector. And they have a promoter, which is responsible for selective gene expression within the tissue where the vector delivers it. And then we have the transgene, which is responsible for producing a functioning version of the protein of interest, which is deficient in that given cell. And that's how they work their gene therapy cures. And if you look at a pictorial representation, we have the AAV containing the genetic payload. It pierces the cell membrane, goes into the cytoplasm, and further it goes into the nucleus where the capsule of the virus disintegrates, releasing the DNA inside. The DNA is transcribed into an RNA, and the RNA comes out into the cytoplasm where it generates a protein that is deficient in this particular tissue. And the protein, when created, it resolves the underlying condition that the particular therapy was trying to treat. So that's how the protein deficiency in any tissue is taken care of using their gene therapy engine. Now, this is an explanation which is also shown in their video out here. I'm just going to play this video for you.
This is an exciting time of progress for people with neuromuscular diseases. Talk with your healthcare provider or genetic counselor about current research. A class of investigational therapies is called gene transfer therapy. Sarepta's proprietary gene transfer therapy engine is tailored to develop gene transfer therapies to specific disease states, aiming to add genes into disease-affected cells, with the goal of making a functioning version of the protein that is missing. To understand gene transfer therapy, it's important to know that genetic diseases are caused by mutations or changes in a gene. Genes are the instruction manual that directs cells to make healthy, properly functioning proteins. But in some cases, a mutation may cause a protein to stop working properly or to stop making protein altogether. For example, in people with muscular dystrophy, a mutation can cause muscle cells to stop making a protein that's needed for the muscles to function normally. Many neuromuscular diseases are monogenic, meaning they're caused by mutations contained within a single gene. Gene transfer therapy is currently being tested in clinical trials as a promising approach for these types of diseases. Gene transfer therapy aims to add genes into disease-affected cells with the goal of making a functioning version of the missing protein. There are 3 parts to a gene transfer therapy: the vector, or vehicle, that delivers the core components of the gene transfer therapy into target cells, the promoter, which works like an on-off switch to express protein in target cells, and the transgene, which acts like an instruction manual that gives cells directions for making a functioning version of the missing protein. In order for the gene transfer therapy to potentially work, the vector has to carry the promoter and transgene into the disease-affected cells. For example, when developing a gene transfer therapy for Duchenne muscular dystrophy, where cells affected by the disease are in the muscles needed for physical movement, breathing, and the heart, a selected vector aims to target all of these areas. After the vector reaches the targeted cell, the next step is turning protein expression on. This is done by a small genetic code called the promoter. The promoter signals to the transferred gene, called the transgene, to begin expressing protein in the cell. And that's how gene transfer therapy is expected to work. The vector targets the diseased cell, delivering the promoter and transgene to direct the cell to express a needed copy of the desired protein. It is important to understand how the body's immune system may respond. The immune system protects against foreign invaders like viruses and may respond to vectors in the same way. This response may contribute to the risks of treatment or even prevent it from working. Because of this, a vector with a low potential for triggering an immune response is selected when developing a gene transfer therapy. However, every person is unique and may respond to a gene transfer therapy differently. The potential for immune responses to a gene transfer therapy can also make an individual ineligible for therapy. For example, if someone has been exposed to a vector before, their immune system may have developed pre-existing antibodies that will trigger an immune response and prevent the therapy from working. That's why testing for pre-existing antibodies is done before treatment with a gene transfer therapy. In the fight against neuromuscular diseases, potential gene transfer therapies from Sarepta's gene therapy engine are being tested.
Well, friends, that was impressive. The questions that I am still working on are, is this a once and done approach? I think it's not. And also the second question is, will the body not develop immune resistance to the adenovirus and prevent success of future dosing? I think it might, but as you know, I'm not a scientist, I'm just an investor. So I'm going to be working on these questions and I'll be back to you with some answers. Again, this company is pretty big and it's very difficult to fit everything into a segment less than 25 minutes. So we'll try visiting this company again in future. But right now, I'd like to go and dig into the price action of this company. Let's go to the TradingView platform and see how it has been performing in the market and whether there is any upside available for us to capitalize on. Here we are on the TradingView platform. I'm looking at Sarepta Technologies price chart. Each of these candles is a one-day candle. And friends, as you can see out here, we have had a consolidation action going on out here on an upward trending chart. And you guys know from the past that if the chart is trending upwards and you have a consolidation, and if you form some kind of pennant, then that pennant is likely to break out on the upside. So that's what is likely to happen out here, in my opinion. It's a bullish pennant and it has got to move up. When it does that, we'll see. It's got to do that anytime soon. Because we are coming to the end of the pennant. So it still has got a week or 7 or 8 days left before it has to make the decision. Right now, the MACD is tending towards the signal line to become bullish, and the momentum is above average and spiking upwards. So it's all looking great. And at this point of time, it's 7th of October 2022, 9:23 a.m. Pre-market, it's down minus 1.58%. It's still within this pennant. So that's what that matters. And I'm going to look at the news articles out here, because somewhere around the 12th, this I think is the 12th of September, the share price fell significantly. And then since then, it has been consolidating and moving upwards with a spike as of yesterday. And the reason why it fell was because the company announced offering of 1 billion convertible notes, which will be converted into equity shares on maturity at the rate of 141.97 per share. And at this point of time, the share price is 114.82. So that was the news which brought it down. Basically, when the shares get the bond, $1 billion bond worth of bonds get converted into equity shares, it's going to result in equity dilution, and that's the reason why it has fallen. But the conversion is going to happen at a much later date. By that time, the top line and bottom line of this company is expected to grow significantly, so that there won't be a drop in the share price, and the share price would potentially touch 141. So that, or more than that, that's the expectation which drives the sale of this bond. So with that said, as always, I would like to see how much this company has fallen in this market compared to its peak. And we have a peak here, which is showing itself at around 182.25. Since then, we have fallen to 114.82. Or and if you look at the pre-market, it's 113.01. So I'm going to take the price down to 113.01 and put a hold there. So I get 113.03, that's fine. So that's a drop of 37.98%, which is in line with the overall bearish market sentiment. And I think this is a strong enough company, and it has got plenty of potential for going up further. Of course, we have to keep in mind the equity dilution that's likely to happen due to the convertible bonds. But still, there are a lot of therapies in the clinical stage, and many of them are likely to get approved and become revenue streams for the company. So the potential is really significant. So this is a company I think we got to keep watching going forward. And we should have it in our watch list. I've already added it out there. We may not look at it daily, but we're going to keep track of it. I look forward to dive deeper into this company and make a few more videos in the near future. And they're going to be longish videos. And I need to do a lot more research on this company before I can come up with any more videos. This, as I said, is a light and fluffy video. With that said, I think I would like to bring this video to an end. I hope you liked this video. And if you did, please do not hesitate to press a like out there because it helps the channel. And if you have not yet subscribed, I would request you to subscribe and help me grow this channel. Thanks and have a great day and have a fantastic weekend. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.